Hello, everybody. So good to go live. Hasn't been planned, but I've been really wanting to start bringing some information here on YouTube. And unfortunately, I have a load of videos that I've actually created, and was looking forward to sharing all of the information that was there. And my computer has decided that the hard drive disk is at its capacity, and I've just got some issues with that. I'm not particularly a technical person, so I'm kind of working that out and probably need to take it in, or maybe get a new laptop that can handle like the amount of videos that I'm planning on sharing, because I'm trying to be more consistent here. And I've got this new camera, so it's like obviously maybe like a higher grade, I suppose. Like more data gets used, using this kind of level of technology. So that's where I'm at. But it would really allow me to drop into being in Maui, because I went away and I was there for 10 days. And because I just had no ability to upload those, it definitely allowed me to just be in that space. And I think that that's what is needed. And sometimes we need to just really let go of, trying to do all these things all the time. And as like an entrepreneur, you'd understand, like, you don't really have a stop or, you don't tick in and tick out of your job. You're always in it, and I enjoy this because this is like my service work, and I love making the meditations and things like that, which are just from my heart. I don't really get anything out of it other than just joy, because it's enjoyable to create the meditations. I love going into meditation myself, so I'm in the meditation when I'm creating them, and getting to upload them and play with the sounds, and creating the artwork with the sounds to combine that medicine and allow that for it to be out there in the world for everyone to receive. I think it's great that we have this platform. So I see some people have joined, so hello. I'm just really dropping in to share about that, and also share about some of the things that I've got coming up, and hopefully be able to talk about some of the things that I had in the videos. And I'll come live a couple of times, maybe over this week and next week, to talk about those things, just live in person. So I guess there won't be any editing. Not that I do very much of that anyway. It would just be here on the spot. So yeah, on the 7th of March, I've got a course coming up called the Crystalline Heart Womb. And I was gonna be talking about all the different things. Well, I am talking about all the different layers that are within that. It's because sometimes we might think, well, what is that? What does that mean? And how does that apply to my life? Like, this crystalline heart womb, and there are so many layers to this, because what I'm really involved in is becoming crystalline, working with our crystalline structure of our body, our physical body, to magnify that energy, retune it and rewire it, so that we can actually be these magnetic forces of pure source creation. I believe that this energy, that there is ways that this energy sometimes has been manipulated in this reality, so that we don't know that. It's very rare, I think, that people know that they are actually crystalline. You think about crystals, a lot of people think about them as the physical crystals, whereas and they're piezoelectric, they're connected to the earth, it creates magnetism, and this is where I think a lot of vitality comes in for people. As much as we're breathing in source prana. Where does it go? How does it move in our body? How does it stabilize vitality and health? And when we look at Taoism, and when we work with like Qigong, for instance, this is a beautiful practice where we flow with life force energy. And there are particular practices that you can do where you are actively looking at cleansing through your crystalline structure, like within your bones, within your fascia, and restructuring it. We're working within that DNA cellular structure to recreate the vibrations and resonance that are more harmonic with nature. If we've got parts of ourselves that feel dissonant to our true nature, which can happen just through experiences. If we've experienced trauma, if we've experienced being in schools or any kind of system that wishes to suppress or bring about a sense of disempowerment in some way or form, we're able to reclaim that and reclaim our connection to earth and to nature and the abundance of pure source creation, life force energy, knowing that we have that ability to harness that and heal ourselves through the connection to this vibrational resonance, which is infinite, and it's all things, everything that is made up of this energy. And when we realize that and we know how to cultivate that within ourselves and our body, we actually then become these crystalline beings. And that's when you see people who seem more magnetic, more luminous, and their aura is quite shiny because they're holding and harnessing a lot more of this energy. And so it shows through their being. Maybe not, you wouldn't see like physical auras, not everyone sees physical auras, but you get a sense that they're gleaming and they're glistening. And there is scientific evidence behind this as well. They've measured this. They've measured how people can be piezoelectric, how we can harness our energy to create energy from ourselves within our being. And if you look at there's actually some, I think even on YouTube, you can look up where you see I don't know, some form of masters, maybe they're Taoist masters, they could be, I don't know, whatever their lineage is, some form of energy, martial arts, this kind of thing, where they have the power to chop a piece of wood, but just by doing something like this, they wouldn't necessarily do it like a big forceful move, like they're trying so hard. They're doing it because they have so much energy within them, and they're able to just chop the board with the energy. It's all about the chi and the life force that they have within themselves. And when we actually are able to do that for ourselves, we don't want to necessarily need to chop a board or break a pen or move some inanimate object from one part of the room to another, but we want to be able to have this in our body and hold this energy so that we can cope with just day-to-day things. We can just be healthy and in tune with our body, in tune with nature, and in turn I feel that this is connecting us to our soul. We can live from our soul or higher self, your divine self, true self, whatever word resonates with you, to make decisions in life, to flow with life, so that life starts becoming more in sync with your true desires, your divine desires within your life. Because oftentimes we feel scattered, or we make decisions based on fear or what the conditioning out there has us believe is going to be the right thing for us, and that drains our vitality. So when we have that ability to harness and hold that energy within ourselves, we're less likely, and we know the energy as well. You become really acquainted with your life force energy. You're actually then able to ensure that you're not going to be shaken by other people influencing you, because you think, well, that doesn't feel like me. That's not my energy. That doesn't resonate with me, because it's not my energy. And you're able to detect that a lot easier. And it's not to say that you'd be perfect, but it's about having the tools to work through that, work through into levels of mastery, or actually just having some kind of idea beyond what's out there right now, because we don't get taught this at school. We don't get shown this. Even when you start working, or you start living your life beyond school, there are still these things that we have to discover for ourselves. And this is where we have this in this avenue here, and I'm doing it with the womb and the heart, because basically for women, we really want to make sure that our womb space is clear. This is a portal for creation, for life force. So we want to feel the energy of life force moving through us in our lower chakras. This is very important for all beings, all people, to work with their lower chakras. And as women who have womb spaces, there's this navigation where we're creating physical life as well, and it works through the energetic format. It's very similar. And a lot of trauma can get held here within the hips and the space, so we look at how we can free that up so we can create that sovereignty within that area. And this is when we connect it to the heart and we start making decisions, we start channeling our heart's energy through our womb space when we're creating all things as well. Our heart is this magnetic energy, this magnetic pulse, and yet that it can be shut off or shielded because things that happen in our lives, trauma, people hurt, or we just want to defend ourselves. So we hold this guarded, and that also guards us from our lower chakras. So when this energy is free flowing up through the heart and through the womb space, we can start to actually feel more ecstatic and alive and more connected to creational life force energy. And that's where we can start to express that. Again, it comes up to the throat and the third eye and the crown and beyond as well. But we're going to be focusing on the heart and the womb for that creational expression. And another thing that's going to be super joyful, which I absolutely love doing, and I think I've mentioned this a few times now, but I think it's so beneficial, and that is working with actual art, working with channeling, like writing. Some people don't like the word channeling, and when I use the word channeling, I'm not talking about bringing something in that's not you, and it's not connected to you. It's all about channeling your own self for you, not to try and give like energy updates. Sorry, but I just have like a real gripe about those, and not to try and do anything for anyone else. It's all about you, like actually getting information from your body, from your womb space, from your heart, or wherever, to understand yourself more, and on a multi-dimensional level as well. Like, you can also connect and channel in those multi-dimensional layers of yourself. If you have, for instance, if you was having cysts on your womb and you needed to really connect in and see why are these cysts showing up, you might need to also not just retrace and get the energy and the information from the womb itself, but you may also need to spread your consciousness a little bit further out and into other lifetimes or through your ancestral lineage, who will also give the information of where this has come from. Because most likely it's going to be multidimensional. It's not just something that's happened in this lifetime. Sometimes things happen in this lifetime and it's like an overlay of something else that's happened, and it kind of comes in to spark that memory and that awareness, so we can go through, like I like to call it, like picking these threads. And it's like if you look at this is probably not a very good example, but if you look at a piece of cloth that has like all of the seams on it, and you was to just pick it, and you'd find eventually you'd get back to where it first was sewn, right? And it's like we have to keep going through the thread to find where the root of that thread is before we can get rid of the whole thread. And that's why people sometimes also notice that they have, excuse some of the sounds, we've got some sounds going on outside, there's some work being done, but that's why sometimes people will think they've dealt with something and then it comes back around, right? And you're like, I thought I dealt with that. Like, why am I suddenly having experiences where people are coming to me and, being nasty to me, or like, I'm having these relationships that, are being narcissistic or something, when you thought you dealt with narcissism. Or you maybe have a physical ailment that suddenly comes back and arises. I certainly have things that happen like that even now, and I'm like retracing it. I'm like, my God, there's like this other layer, this other thing, and I know that can sound maybe overwhelming, like we're constantly on this journey of healing, but it's not all the time, and it gets lighter and easier, more joyful, especially when we use the medium of movement and art and sound. And this is what I've really found on my journey. I've gone through those those times in my life where I went really deep in ways where, I was sitting in ceremonies, and I was maybe going to certain healers where it really felt like things were just like being like ripped out, and I felt like things were just kind of coming back to me like tenfold, like slamming back at me, because I needed to learn like how to do this from a gentle, nurturing perspective, because again, some of these things can have happened to our inner child self, our children aspects. That could even be multidimensional. Our ancestors, they need that gentleness, that kindness, to really be able to approach them and reconnect with them, because we've been severed from our ancestral lineage, a lot of us. We're really lucky. I would call that a privilege nowadays. Often people think that to be privileged is, when you have a big roof over your head and you've got all the supermarkets around you and a nice car. But to me, what privileged is when you really was able to stay with your roots the whole time. You've been in connected to your roots, and the wisdom of your ancestors are always handed down to you, and the teachings, and you get to be surrounded by that and nature, and you never was severed from nature. That to me is the true meaning of privilege. And it shouldn't be privilege, it should just be the way, right? But that's what I found within myself, that I've been severed, and I have very scattered lineage as well. I've got a lot of different connections, from it's all of the Celtic lineages and the Gaelic lineages, and then you've got even like Portugal and Spain, and it really is wide and spread. So you've got to go within and tap in and see what threads of what lineages want to unfold and show us. Where are they? Where does it lead back to, and where can we get that information again? Because I'm not going to get it from my grandparents, for instance. I'm not able to talk about some of those things. They're still cut off. So how can I reconnect with that now in this lifetime? And I do believe it's kind of going into the Akash, going into our physical cellular memory, especially the womb space, to get the memories back and retrieve the codes that are actually just within our cellular body, in our being, and we can recall that. So yeah, it's very magical, and I'm going to leave it there. I've got so thank you for listening, my love, whoever you are who's been sitting here listening to this first live that I've done up for a while. And if you are interested, just come and reach out to me. You can email me at georgia@cosmicheartspace.com. You can go directly to the website to look at the Heart Womb Immersion. There's a few different options as well to pay and be a part of the experience. And if you live in person, if you live in the UK, which is in-person retreat that I have coming up, is on the 17th of March, and I'm going to be doing that with my dear friend Chloe, who is a yoga teacher, a Kundalini yoga teacher. She's going to be doing a Kundalini yoga practice to help us work with our Kundalini Shakti energy in a very healthy, sustainable way, connecting with the womb space. And then I'm going to be doing some somatic womb healing practices and divine feminine sacred arts practices, and just really reconnecting as women in this sisterhood. We're going to be doing some very nurturing practices on there, so I look forward to sharing that with you. Again, just reach out and let me know if that's something that you're interested in, and all the details are on the website. So bye for now, and sending you all so much love. Thank you.